All right, diving in. Today, we're looking at everyday English, like the really basic stuff. You handed me this material. It's like English 101. But I got to say, even I'm curious to see what we dig up.
Well, what I find fascinating is they zero in on these like super common verbs, actions we all do. Doesn't matter what language you speak, really. Eating, sleeping, working.
Yeah, it's universal, right? I guess it's easy to forget about that simple stuff when you're, I don't know, trying to learn all the fancy vocabulary.
Oh, absolutely. But honestly, those basic words, you'll use them constantly every single day.
True. So, okay, they've got eat, sleep, work, and relax. I mean, yeah, that pretty much covers it. And look at the example sentences. I eat, but she eats.
You're picking up on it already. That right there, that little S, that's your simple present tense in action, specifically when you're talking about someone else doing the action, like he, she, or it.
So it's not just the words themselves, but the grammar that connects them. I feel like grammar gets a bad rap sometimes.
I'm with you there. It's the glue that holds everything together. And think about it. For native speakers, that S ending, we do it automatically, but for someone learning English, that tiny detail can be a real trip up.
Makes you realize just how complex language is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're talking routines, everyday actions, I'm guessing this present tense is, well, pretty prevalent.
You could say that again. Try describing your day without it. You couldn't even say, I wake up, I work, I eat. Talk about limited.
Oh man, this takes me back to high school French class, all those conjugations.
Yeah.
But it does make you appreciate the work involved in learning another language.
No doubt. And what's cool is the simple present. It's deceptively simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for routines, but also facts, opinions, even things happening right now.
Hold on. Right now, isn't that like present continuous territory? Like I am eating, not just I eat.
You're sharp. You're right. There are those finer points. But the simple present can work for things happening this very second, especially with verbs that are more about states or conditions, like I understand or I believe.
Okay, so it's a multitasker. More to it than meets the eye.
Exactly. And that's why it's important, even at the beginner level, to get not just the rules, but how it's used in everyday conversation. That's where fluency comes in.
So we've got our basic verbs, this sneaky, simple present tense. What else do we need to make a sentence happen?
Well, knowing how to say no is key. Like, I don't work on Sundays, or he doesn't eat meat. And that's where our little helpers do and does.
But yeah, the dodo's dilemma. I definitely remember struggling with that one early on.
It's a classic. Remembering which to use, it all goes back to who or what is doing the action, same as that S ending.
So it's all connected, like a puzzle. All the pieces got to fit just right.
And of course, we need to ask questions. Do you work here? Or does she like pizza? That little verb, shuffle to the front. That's our question mark in disguise.
Okay, so we've got our verbs, this simple present tense, how to say no, and how to ask stuff. It's amazing how much we've already covered just by looking at these basic English building blocks.
It's all about that foundation. And once you have these pieces in place, you can start building bigger, more complex sentences and express yourself in all sorts of new ways.
We're back, folks, still digging into everyday English, and I'm telling you, it's more interesting than you might think.
I know, right? It's like we use this stuff all the time, but we never really stop and dissect it. It's pretty cool, actually.
That's what these deep dives are all about, right? Seeing the familiar with fresh eyes. So, speaking of exploring, let's see how they go deeper into this whole simple present thing.
Okay, so they're talking about subject-verb agreement. It's that S thing again, but it's not just for those action verbs, is it?
Nope, not at all. This rule applies to all sorts of verbs, like describing how you feel. I feel happy, she seems tired. Even opinions like, he believes in hard work, or I think that's a great idea.
So it's not just physical stuff, but also mental states and beliefs. It's like that S is the signal. It's telling you who the verb is talking about. Precisely. And honestly, that tiny detail, it can completely change what you're trying to say. Subtle, but powerful.
It's kind of like those optical illusions, where one little dot can make a flat image look 3D. Small change, big impact. But, okay, let me play devil's advocate for a sec. Isn't this a little nitpicky? I mean, do people really care if you miss that S sometimes?
That's a fair question. And honestly, yeah, in casual conversation, you might get away with it. But if you drop that S all the time, it makes you sound, well, less fluent. And it could even cause confusion, especially in writing. You got to be accurate.
So it's about more than just being right. It's about getting your message across clearly. showing you're a confident speaker,
Like, think of it like dressing up for a job interview. You want to make a good impression, right?
Yeah.
Using correct grammar, it's like wearing a nice outfit. Shows you put in the effort.
I like that analogy. Okay, so we've got the S rule, but these materials also keep coming back to those do and does helpers.
Ah, yes, the auxiliary verbs. They're like the backbone of negative statements and questions in the simple present.
Right. And this was always tricky for me when I was learning English. Like, when do you use do and when do you use does?
It goes back to that subject-verb agreement again. If it's he, she, or it, you use does. For everything else, it's do. So he does not like coffee, but I do not like coffee.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
But why do we even need these extra verbs? Couldn't we just say, I not like coffee?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it highlights a big difference between English and lots of other languages. We rely on these helpers to tell you if we're making a statement, asking something, or being negative.
So it's not just about the words, but like the whole structure of the sentence. It's a code, almost.
You got it. And once you crack that code, your fluency goes way up, like going from reading a map to actually exploring the territory.
Love that. So speaking of exploring, they keep mentioning role play. Is that where things get really fun?
Absolutely. Role playing. It's where you get to use all the stuff we've been talking about in actual conversations. It's like a dress rehearsal, but for everyday life.
And the best part, you can make mistakes, and it doesn't matter. It's like a safe space to practice and get comfortable.
Totally. The more you do it, the more natural it'll become. Trust me.
Okay, so we've covered subject-verb agreement, those auxiliary verbs. It feels like we've really broken down the simple present tense, huh? But I bet there's more to discover, right?
Oh, for sure. Learning a language. It's an ongoing journey. There's always something new around the corner.
Back again. I feel like after all that, we've finally got a handle on the simple present tense.
It's been a fun ride, right? From those basics to all the little things that make it, well, so complex.
I thought simple present meant, simple. But it turns out there's way more to it.
Like they say, still waters run deep, right? It looks straightforward, but there's a lot of power there to say all kinds of things.
Yeah, and I think what I'm taking away is it's not just memorizing rules. It's like understanding why those rules exist. Subject-verb agreement, those auxiliary verbs. It makes sense when you see the whole picture.
It's true. It's like learning music, you know? You got to learn the notes, the chords, but the magic happens when you start improvising, making it your own.
And that's what they keep saying about role-playing. That's where you take it from the book to real life.
Exactly. It's like practicing for a play, but the play is just everyday conversation.
Yeah, and you can mess up. You can try different things, work on your pronunciation, and nobody's judging you.
You've got a built-in language partner who's always down to practice.
Yeah.
And what I like is they encourage you to start with your own routine.
So you're not just, like, repeating stuff from a textbook. You're talking about your actual life. Makes it real.
You're turning a grammar lesson into your own story. And the more you do that, the easier it gets. Like you're training your brain to think in English.
That's the goal, right? When you don't have to translate in your head anymore.
Yeah, that aha moment when you realize you're not just learning the language, you're using it to connect with the world.
That's a great feeling.
So, to everyone listening, here's my challenge to you. Take those verbs we talked about, that simple present tense we broke down, and use them. Talk about your day, tell people what you think, ask questions, don't worry about making mistakes.
It's all part of the process. Remember, even small steps add up. Just be curious, keep practicing, and have fun with it.
There's a whole world out there just waiting to be explored in English. So keep learning, keep talking, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.